Welcome to The Source, where we combine the headlines with in-depth conversations with the newsmakers themselves. Sitting in for Pinky Webb, I'm Ria Tanwat Cotrillo. Today on the program, President Bongbong Marcos focuses on economy, education, and food security in his first cabinet meeting. The government eyes full face-to-face classes by November. And lawmakers in the Senate and lower house refile the absolute divorce bill. Teachers Dignity Coalition Chairperson Benjo Basas and Albay Representative Ed Selagman join us live. President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. holds his first cabinet meeting 5 days after taking office. Rex Remito reports from Malacanang.
President Marcos's first ever cabinet meeting focused on economy, education, and food security. The economic team first presented an outlook of the economy. Vice President and Education Secretary Sara Duterte then gave her ideas on how the country will return to face-to-face education next semester. President Marcos also gave a background on what his general directives to agriculture officials are to ensure food security. The president himself admitted they were not able to cover everything after they met for 4 hours. That's why he and his cabinet are planning to meet twice or thrice a week. In his first press briefing as president, he emphasized the importance of making sure there's enough supply of food at affordable prices. He's concerned about rising food prices, saying that many factors are out of their control, although he says the country has enough food supply. The chief executive says they're still preparing for possible food shortages and higher prices. A journalist also asked President Marcos about the inflation rate of 6.1% last month. The number is higher than the government's target of 2 to 4%. And here is his response.
I think that I will have to disagree with that number. We are not that high. We have crossed our targets were less 4% or less. Unfortunately, it looks like we may cross that threshold. Tatawid tayo sa 4%.
The president meanwhile said there's no need to import more rice and corn to stabilize prices locally. He says he wants to boost local production this planting season instead. The chief executive, however, emphasized that there's a need to import more pork and chicken. Pork because the country is short on supply due to the African swine fever. Chicken because he says local supply is not sufficient. Although we have yet to know if these measures are enough and can make it on time to temper rising food prices. President Marcos meanwhile says Vice President Duterte announces during the meeting that she seeks to implement the resumption of full face-to-face classes by November. It will be the first time that full face-to-face classes in schools will happen since the pandemic began in March 2020. The president says it will begin in phases starting September. The chief executive meanwhile says he's set to meet with Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi, who just arrived in the country. He says the purpose of the meeting is to strengthen the ties between China and the Philippines and that they will find ways to resolve the conflicts that the two countries have. Rex Remito, CNN Philippines.
Let's go straight to the source of the story. Teachers Dignity Coalition Chairperson Benjo Basas. Good morning, sir. Thank you so much for being here. Now, President Bongbong Marcos says that VP Sara Duterte plans to conduct full face-to-face classes in November. Is the education sector ready? Oh, I think you're on mute, Mr. Basas. If you could kindly unmute.
I'm sorry for that. Yeah. Yeah, well, I think we're ready. No, our teachers po are actually ready. No, and we're waiting for this po. No, for the last more than 2 years. No, nandun po tayo sa distance learning. No, and our children po no have suffered a lot. No, because of this distance learning setup. No, makikita naman po natin yung output no nito hindi ito hindi maayos no output, no. And of course, no, even our group, no, and some other teachers groups and the teachers themselves po, no, gusto na namin bumalik, no, dito sa tinatawag po natin in-person classes, no. And if it's gonna be 100%, then that's whole lot better, no. But I think we really have to establish din, ano, yung factors, no, na dapat na tignan ng ating gobyerno, no. Kaya sasabihin lang natin na kaya na natin ng 100%, no. Since November 2021 po, no, meron tayong pilot implementation ng face-to-face classes, no, at hanggang ngayon po, no, nagpapatuloy yan. Of course, no, we are right now po, no, nandun na tayo sa end of this school year, no. Pero nagpatuloy po yan, no, nagkaroon ng DepEd ng tinatawag po natin na progressive expansion. So marami na pong mga schools natin, ano, as the record of the DepEd speaks po, no, nung siguro more than 2 weeks ago naglabas ang DepEd ng statement, no, na binabanggit nila na something like 70%, no, ng ating mga eskwelahan na po ay pwede na po, no, ng face-to-face. At kung aabot po tayo ng November would be of course the target of the President himself, no, ay sa tingin naman po natin ay kaya na po ito, no, ng November. Pero take note pa rin po, dapat pag-usapan natin, ano, yung ating yung readiness, no, pag-usapan natin yung
speaking of
yung,
that readiness,
resources.
What should the preparations of VP Sara be before talagang kaya na mag face-to-face classes?
Well, sa tingin po namin, kailangan po natin matiyak, no, na yung mga bata ay hindi magsiksikan sa school, no? Baka congested yung ating classrooms, no? So, tingin namin, no, at least po at 25, no, per classroom po, no? So, per class, no? I mean, ano? At yung teacher po natin talagang madadagdagan yung teaching load niya, or mag-hire po tayo ng additional teachers, no, to cater for these adjustments, no? Kasi adjustments po ito, no? And even our classrooms po, no, baka ang mangyayari po nito ay ma-shorten yung instructional time, no? Pwedeng sa loob po ng isang buong maghapon ay pwedeng magkaroon tayo ng 2 to 3 sessions or even 4 sessions, no? Basta ang kailangan lamang naman po talaga dito ay yung mga bata ay makakapasok, no, physically sa school. Unlike ngayon, ano po, mas maraming mga bata ngayon po ay hindi pumapasok sa school physically. Yung binabanggit ko po kanina, no, na figure, no, ng Department of Education, although maraming eskwelahan po yung nagpa-participate sa tinatawag nating face-to-face classes, no, iilang sections lang yan, iilang mga bata lang po yung kasali po, no, dyan sa klase niyan. Sana hindi ganun. Pag sinabi nating 100%, no, kung 10,000 ang estudyante, let's say ng aking eskwela ng Caloocan High School, dapat yung 10,000 ay pumapasok or at least nakakaranas pumasok, no, physically sa eskwelahan.
Right, let's talk about your wish list from the Marcos administration. I'm sure within that is the increase of teachers' salaries. Can you tell us how much should the salary of teachers be, as well as other teaching personnel?
Well, madam, we have at least 2, no, na pangunahin po, no, na bills, no, pending before the Congress po, no. Matagal na ito, no. One is the salary upgrading bill, no, kung saan po ay itataas sa salary grade 15 yung sweldo ng ating entry level position, ano, sa gobyerno, no, sa mga teacher 1. Yung isa naman po yung 10,000 across the board increase, no, regardless of their salary grade, regardless of their position, no, basta po teaching personnel ng DepEd or ng public education institution po ay dadagdagan ng 10,000, no. Any of these 2 bills po, no, will do, no. Sa tingin namin ito na yung pinaka maganda, no, itong dalawa po na ito. So we could give, no, the president, no, or the legislative people, no, our congresspersons, no, our senators, no, kumbaga options, no, para po tignan kung ano yung dito yung mas feasible, no. Ang salary upgrading bill po kasi, no, pag nag-upgrade yung teacher 1, mag-upgrade din yung teacher 2. And that's the long time argument, no, of the oppositor of this bill, no, even before, no. That's why we settled po noong 2008, no, yung Education Committee ng Senado nagsettle, no, for that 10,000 across the board increase bill, no. So any of these po, ma'am, so that would I think, no, that would add, no, something like 10,000 pesos din po, no, kahit po saan, kahit alin man sa dalawang to, no. So kung ngayon po ang sweldo ng teacher 1 ay magiging 27,000 by 2023 po, no? So magiging at least 37, no? At pag salary upgrading bill naman po, that would be something like 36,500, no? So close, no? Sa tingin namin ito po yung pinakamabuti, no? Na pag-isipan ng gobyerno. Wag na po gamitin yung scheme ng tinatawag po natin na salary standardization law, no, since 1989 po, no. Ito itinali nito yung sweldo ng ating mga guro sa napakababang first position, pangalawa doon sa napakababang nominal amount, no, nung sweldo, and even increases po, no, by way of this this SSL.
Well, aside
now po,
from that,
nasa
of course,
SSL 5 na
you know,
po tayo.
the necessity for increasing salaries of teacher, you know, we are living in extraordinary times. Could you tell us a little bit about what kind of compensation package and benefits for teachers you would like to see in light of the COVID-19 pandemic?
Well, first, of course, no, we have a law, no, the Magna Carta for Public School Teachers, and it mandates, no, the health assistance, health benefits, no, for teachers, no. Unfortunately, hindi po ito na ipatupad, no, for the longest time, no. Ang sinasabi po dito dapat yung annual, no, medical check-up, no, and even hospitalization po, no, and even medication of teachers po dapat free ito, no. At dumanas po tayo ng 2 taon, ano, na may COVID, no, at yung ating mga teacher, ang dami po naming teacher po, no, na nagkasakit ng COVID, no, yung iba gumastos ng millions to survive, no, yung iba talagang hindi po kinaya, no. Hindi po ito natulungan, ano, ng kung meron man, very minimal po yung tulong na naibigay ng ating gobyerno. So well, I cite this example po, no, para makita natin, ano, that even in the times of medical emergencies po, no, like this pandemic po, ay hindi po talaga, no, naging pwede namin sabihin po, no, na hindi naging dependable, no, yung system, no, ng assistance, no, para sa ating mga guro. Kaya ngayon po dapat magpursige, no, yung ating gobyerno, yung ating DepEd, no, for that matter, no, para po ito ay maibigay, no, yung compensation po nito. Maliban po dyan na nag-usap pa lamang po tayo ngayon, doon pa lamang sa mga benefits, no, and compensation package under the existing Magna Carta for Public School Teachers, no. Hindi pa rin po yun na ibibigay yung mga hardship, no, special hardship allowances, no, yung supposedly, no, yung paid study leave, no, and of course we're asking for a scholarship grant po sana sa mga teachers po natin, ano po, no, yung maayos na merit and compensation, merit and promotion system, no, and of course yung aming insurance system po, no, under the GSIS, no. Ang gusto sana namin ay i-reform itong GSIS or at least magtayo ng sarili naming insurance system because we have the numbers, no, we are 1 million strong, no, DepEd people, no, at mas kaya po namin, ano po, na magsarili, no, ng isang insurance company kung hindi po may ayos itong GSIS.
Right, Mr. Basas, another topic, the K12 program. Now, some people are calling for this to be reviewed, and some are pushing to scrap the K12 program altogether. Very quickly, what is your position on this?
We really need to review, no, and an independent review, of course, no. Kinakailangan po natin makita ito, no. At yung pong result ng review po na ito, no, siya yung will going to scrap pa itong K12 program or may mga reforms needed or meron pong mga kinakailangan po na adjustments, no, especially po, no, dito sa implementation po nito, no, kasi alam niyo naman, ano, bago po, no, nagsimula itong K12, no, we are at the opposing side, no, of this proposal, no, in 2010, no, up to 2012, no, nung naisabatas na nga po ito. And yung mga worries po namin noon, yung mga concerns na nire-raise po namin noon, ano, eto ngayon, yung mga tinitignan po, no, yung mga nakikita po, even, no, ng ating Pangulo, no, ng President Marcos, eto rin yung mga sinasabi niya, di ba, yung employability na promise ng K12 na hindi naman naging totoo, di ba? And then, of course, yung congested na curriculum, no, lahat po ng ito ay na-raise na po namin nung nakaraan, no? And we think the reasons are valid enough, no, for us to review, no, to have an in-depth review of this K12 system. No, this is not just a curriculum. This is a system of education cycle. Po.
Right, needs to be reviewed. All right, thank you so much, Sir Benjo, for being here. That was Teachers Dignity Coalition Chairperson Benjo Basas. Still ahead, an Albay representative files the absolute divorce bill anew. We'll speak to Congressman Ed Lagman after the break. Please stay tuned.